It's time to see who will be crowned the Asian champions tonight as Sri Lanka take on Pakistan in the final of the 2022 Asia Cup. Not many would have expected Sri Lanka to be there in the final, but they were the best team in the Super Fours after having won 4 consecutive matches. And for Pakistan, if it wasn't for the 2 Naseem Khan sixes, they would have been in trouble. But in the end, here we are, Sri Lanka versus Pakistan, fighting for Asian supremacy tonight. I'm joined by Ashok Malhotra, former Indian cricketer, former selector. Also joining me here is Santosh Suri, whose workload, I don't know about the Indian players, but his workload seems to have reduced after India are out of the Asia Cup. But this is a big final for 2 teams, and why I say this, Ashok sir, is that both these teams, both these nations are going through their own problems. Sri Lanka, you know, with all that happened, they were the hosts. It had to be shifted, the Asia Cup. The tournament had to be shifted to Dubai because of the political unrest, the economic crisis in the country, with Pakistan going through their own problem, weathering the floods there, most parts of that country drowning under that. So in that sense, I mean, it's great to see these 2 nations play the final. Also, it is a battle for, Asian supremacy. We are looking at the T20 World Cup next month. Sri Lanka beat Pakistan in their encounter in Super Fours. Do they have the edge in this final?
See, I would say it is still even Stevens. Because Pakistan, if not to forget, they played 2-3 new guys who probably like Usman Qadir played, Hassan Ali played instead of Naseem. And Shadab Khan. So they were probably playing half the side. They were not at full strength as far as bowling was concerned.
Yeah.
So that is the +1 for them. But the only thing is you can never count out Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
One, as you very rightly said, it is an opportunity for both the sides to put the smile back on their country. You know, so that is very, very important. That is what cricket gives you. Right?
Yeah.
It binds the nation together. They all are cheering for their respective nations. Right. And, whoever wins puts a smile on them.
Ashok,
at least
sir,
they forget the misery for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we've got the toss. So Pakistan have won the toss and have opted to field first. And I genuinely, from what we've seen now, it seems like Pakistan do have the advantage. We've seen teams chasing have a very clear advantage. So Pakistan now have the edge. Go ahead.
Absolutely, they have the edge. You know, whoever wins the toss, 90% he wins the match. And for Sri Lanka, they have chased the target. Setting a target is a different ballgame. So it might not be an easy thing for them because they're playing a different brand of cricket. The way Nissanka is playing, the way Kusal Pandit is playing, Rajpaksa is playing. They all are playing brilliant cricket. But the fact is to set a target. You have to build an inning. You can't go hammer and tong the bowling and hope to get a target. Because the kind of wicket in Dubai is nothing less than 180 will suffice.
Yeah.
Because 180 is a part in Dubai. And for Sri Lanka to get that, somebody has to play it. Be it Nissanka, be it Kusal Pandit, be it Rajpaksa, be it Sri Lanka, who has not fired so far. He's one of my favorite batters. He has not fired so far. But they're a good side. But the fact is, can they bell the cat? Because see, the difference between Pakistan and Sri Lanka is coming back from a very, very big downfall in the cricket.
Yeah.
From there, they come in. Do they have the belief to take the final step?
Yeah.
Whereas Pakistan knows how to win the game. Yeah. And plus, not to forget, they have won the toss, and it is advantage Team Pakistan.
Yes, it's advantage Team Pakistan. And why we are saying this is because Pakistan have won the toss and there are no surprises there. They've opted to field first. So Sri Lanka batting first there. We'll get you the playing 11. Just Two changes in the Pakistan playing 11 from the last game. Shadab Khan comes back in and Naseem Shah. What an impact he has made in the tournament. And one thought, you know, Shaheen Shah Afridi would be missed, but young Naseem Shah has filled in those shoes very well. There you look at Pakistan's playing 11, top heavy. Mohammad Rizwan's done all the heavy lifting for Pakistan. Babar Azam, he is going through a slump and would want to score runs for his team. It's a high pressure game in today's game. With that, because Pakistan now have the edge in after having won the toss, I think, you know, it kind of levels things up in a way, because Sri Lanka are coming into this match after a very comfortable win over Pakistan in the Super Fours just 2 days ago. Whereas for Pakistan now, as we know, toss being such a huge advantage, and also Sri Lanka's batting has been firing, whereas Pakistan's batting has been a concern. So this is going to be an exciting match. That was Pakistan's playing 11, and those were the expected changes there. Santosh sir, when you look at the two teams on paper, the one thing that has stood out about Sri Lanka is that they've got the depth in their batting, but they've all come good. You know, it's playing like a team. There's somebody or the others always putting their hand up and scoring the runs. So the batting has come good, especially in the Super 4 stages. Santosh sir?
Actually, the last match that the two teams played was virtually a, you know, dress rehearsal for the final.
Yeah.
So that was the intensity of both the teams was missing, and plus Pakistan had rested two of their main strike bowlers also. So that had an effect on the plus we had the
Okay. Okay.
Chasing. So
yes,
on that we can touch that the previous match that had that type of result will effect on today's
okay, you know
one-day
what,
toss, and
Santosh
obviously
sir,
they have
I'm
the
so
advantage, and they have brought in. But
yes, there seems to be a network
sound
issue.
is a problem.
No, your video is freezing, but you can go on. I think it's fine now. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the result of the previous match is not going to have that much of an influence. The only thing that Sri Lanka have to ensure, as we have referred, that they have a very good and deep batting, and they are batting well in this tournament. So 180 is the par score. So I think they need a cushion of at least 15-20 more runs if they hope to be competitive in this final. And but you know, the crowd is going to be overwhelmingly in favor of Pakistan. We have seen at least 80% of the you know, crowds will be Pakistani, and they'll be, you know, backing their team, and the atmosphere will be pro-Pakistan. So I think with toss also going their way, things have begun very well for Pakistan. And let's see at the end of the day if Sri Lanka can surprise the favorites as we go into the final.
Absolutely. But you look at both their batting lineups, Ashok sir, one thing that stands out is that if Sri Lanka have got this very refreshing approach from them, which we didn't expect, where they are really playing that aggressive brand of cricket. But at the same time, as you see the balance, you see some cricketing shots from their top batsmen. I mean, it's not just, you know, completely sort of disorganized. They know what they are doing. They have a plan, and they've been playing according to that plan and have been succeeding. But their openers have done well, both Kushal Mendes and Pathum Nissanka. Kushal striking at 158 in this tournament. Nissanka has got 250s in the last two games. The openers here have to get a big start, because we've been saying toss is such a big issue here. They're batting first. If the openers start well, you know, they can get to that par total of 185, 190.
Yes, definitely so. You know, if you get off to a good start, 6 overs, 50 for 1 or 50 for no loss, then you have set the ball rolling with the kind of firepower you have in your batting. With Rajapaksa scoring magnificently, seems to be hitting the ball very, very well. You know, with the Dhananjay De Silva, probably gives solidity to their middle order. And then the skipper is also firing on all guns. So they have enough firepower. But the start is going to be very, very vital. Especially in the final, it's a pressure game. First 6 overs are going to be very, very vital. So we'll wait and see. And when it comes to Babar Azam, I don't know that handshake has done the trick for Babar Azam, because it has done the trick for Virat Kohli. He started scoring runs, and Babar Azam seems to be missing out. So I don't know. Maybe the power of Babar Azam has gone back to Virat Kohli and the other way around. So I really don't know why and how it has happened. The Babar Azam was firing on all cylinders. He seemed to be struggling, and that's not good news for Pakistan, because they depend very heavily on.
Absolutely. Okay, I seem to have lost Ashok sir there, but you're talking about Babar Azam and Rizwan, and I want to put this question to Santosh sir as well. Sir, given that Babar Azam has struggled, the pressure is on Mohammad Rizwan to sort of hold on to his wicket. And that's why you see such a slow start, because even in the last match, and I know you're saying the intensity is lacking, it was a dry run of sorts, but Pakistan were 63 for 1 after 10 overs. And that, when you get that kind of start, and when that's what your openers have done or your top order has done, then you are putting pressure on the batters who are waiting in the wings to come out and bat. And, we saw Pakistan collapsing under that pressure, which we've seen from Pakistan. They do have a very conservative approach up top. Santosh sir?
That's absolutely true. And the main reason for that is the form of Babar Azam. If he was in that free-flowing form of his that we have known him for last 4-5 years, then things would have been, very different for Pakistan. And this has put pressure on Rizwan also. He has not only to maintain the run rate, but also ensure that there are no collapses. So that we that used to see that fast flowing and till 60 overs, first 10 overs they used to score around 80, 85, that is missing. So hopefully everybody has got their fingers crossed, the Pakistani fans have got their fingers crossed that Babar Azam will finally, like Virat Kohli, find this particular match to come good. And if he comes good, then half of Pakistan's problem will be over. So that should be the thing that everybody will be looking. But there is no doubt that Rizwan is under pressure, and it is on him to ensure that Pakistan will, while chasing, will ensure that they have a good run rate during the first 6 overs, and then for the other players to, pick up from there. The last time, of course, it was 60 for 1, and they just couldn't capitalize on that big score for making a big score, and they really collapsed. But then, as we have discussed, that the intensity in that match was very low. Hopefully, that intensity will be very high, and both the teams will be geared up to give up their best. And there is no doubt that we are going to see a very great and close final, despite India not being present at that Dubai International Stadium.
Let's also talk about the impact of Naseem Shah in this tournament for Pakistan. I mean, in the absence of Shah Afridi, he may not have got as many wickets as people would expect Shah Afridi to have got, but he's made the impact, if not just with the ball, with the with the pace that he generates, but also with those 2 sixes. And I just feel like right now Naseem Shah is the hero really in that team, because if it was not for those 2 sixes, Pakistan would have been in trouble. Santosh sir?
And leave alone Pakistan would have been in trouble, and India, if we had not hit those 2 sixes, India would have been in the final, surely.
Yeah.
So, those 2 wickets that he took in the first match between the 2 teams, and also the 2 sixes that he had, was not only helping Pakistan to make it to the final, but also ensured that their arch rivals India are also back at home even before the final is played. So obviously he has taken up that mentor, the main role he has taken up, the responsibility in the absence of Shah Afridi, and that is the type of intensity we require in Indian team. When there are a couple of players missing, it is the backup players who need to rise to the occasion and ensure that they give up their best and ensure that it helps the team. That has been lacking in the Indian team. So going forward, obviously in this match, again, we have to see what type of performance Naseem Shah is going to provide today, and he'll be surely aiming to be the man of the tournament. And if he has a couple of wickets and that should be enough for him and will ensure that Pakistan cruise through in the final.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and coming into this, hadn't played T20 cricket and T20Is, and then for him to be bowling like that, him to hold his nerve, to hit those 2 sixes, this has been a big tournament for Naseem Shah. But how impressed, Ashok Malhotra is back with us, how impressed have you been with Shadab Khan and Mohammad Nawaz in this tournament, Ashok sir? I mean, you know, there's a reason. I mean, it's a blessing in disguise in a way, Babar Azam not scoring runs, because the middle order's got an opportunity to show what they are capable of. But these two have been impressive.
Absolutely. Shadab we all knew about. Nawaz is a new one. You know, Nawaz reminds me, if I say he's a Pakistan's Ravindra Jadeja, so I will not be too far away from truth. Because he is the one who bowls magnificently, bowls very economically. He is a good striker of the ball, and not to forget, he's a top-class fielder. So all in all, a great package. And Shadab and him together, those 8 overs are going to be very, very crucial. I know they have few left-handers in them, but still, you know, they have to get through these 8 overs, because Naseem is another one which you have to be very, very careful. Hasnan seems to be bowling very well, but these two are the guys who hold the key to contain Sri Lankan batting. And if they can contain them to say 140, 150, I think it's a game set in Pakistan. For me, anyway, Pakistan is winning the Asia Cup today. You know, maybe I'm jumping the gun, but I think looks like they seem to be a very, very formidable unit, and winning the toss is the first step in the right direction.
Yeah, also it's surprising. I mean, you look at the numbers and you wonder why Pakistan have not won enough Asia Cups. I mean, Pakistan and India, they have really been good in the times. I mean, what, 84 onwards, you would have expected Pakistan to have won more than 2 trophies, Santosh. They've only won 2. And Sri Lanka, I think, won 5. But yeah, Sri Lanka won it 5 times. But that's surprising, right? Pakistan on a stage like Asia Cup haven't done well in the past. Santosh sir?
Absolutely, that is very surprising why Pakistan in this 14, 15 editions have only won just 2, while India, I think, are the most surprising, since the rivalry of both the teams go a long way down, and even in the first 1984 first Asia Cup, it was rivalry began from then, and it has stretched right to this. And what has been the most surprising is that not even once have the two teams ever met in the final. Of course, initial 2-3 editions were round robin, where no final was played, and the team with the most points was declared champion. But still, after that, at least 12 editions have been there, and to feel that India and Pakistan have never clashed in a final is indeed surprising. And probably Pakistan not making to the final too often is also very, very surprising. But now, these days, the Pakistani team and their attitude and their, work ethics and culture, what they have brought in, has ensured that they are, more prominent team with consistent base to perform here. And like we have seen in last 6-7 years, they have virtually made UAE their home ground, because none of the bilateral series have been also played in Pakistan. Only recently have they started. So they consider this UAE as their home ground, and that has given them confidence in this particular edition of Asia Cup. So like Ashokji said, we will not be too surprised if Pakistan go on to win today, and it should be that way, I think, by the night.
This is the friendliest final one expected to see, though, Ashok sir. I mean, both teams, there is no rivalry there. What were we saying? Best of 3 for India and Pakistan. Here you have 2 teams. I mean, you saw how the emotions were between the players from Pakistan and Afghanistan as well. That's another rivalry. I think we all can see that rivalry grow in the years to come. But this is as friendly as it can get.
See, Sri Lankan batters are always smiling as assassins.
Yeah.
They're never ones who, who abuse or curse or anything. From the days of Sanat Jayasuriya, they've always been smiling and doing their job. So I think they are like that. So that is what it is. They are very well liked team. But the fact is, they must be trying to win this tournament because if you were saying why Pakistan won two times. Pakistan's trying to rebuild the team. It's taken them 8-10 years to rebuild the side. Under Babar Azam, they seem to be now coming to terms. And same with Sri Lanka. Last 6-7 years, they've been struggling very, very badly. But all of a sudden, everything seems to have fallen in place.
Yeah.
So things are going good for them. And this is an opportunity for both the team to have their supremacy, at least in Asia Cup. Asia. I don't know about T20 World Cup. It's a long way off. But the fact is, they would try to win the game. But for the Sri Lanka to set the total, I think can be their undoing because they have been winning the matches, chasing a total. Batting first and winning it might not be their forte. Once you get the target, it makes life easy for Pakistan, despite of a very brittle order.
What has been the conversation like in the UAE, Santosh sir, with respect to toss? I mean, in the press box as well, because this is what 21 matches have been played here in Dubai specifically since 2021. 18 have been won by teams chasing. The 3 matches that were won, batting first was India, Hong Kong, I think Scotland, New Zealand, and India, Afghanistan. Those are the 3 matches where there is, of course, marked difference between the two sides. And but then on the other side, you see that the matches that have been won, a lot of the matches in this Asia Cup have been last over thrillers. It could have gone either way. And yet there is this advantage to the team that is chasing.
Absolutely, it is very difficult to put a finger on the real reason why this has become such a way. But like we have seen that probably with a bat in hand, it is easier to control the game than ball in hand. So it seems here in Dubai. So with the bat in hand, we have seen some solid hitting in the end, like we saw 2 sixes from Azam, we saw a 6 from our own Hardik Pandya. So with bat in hand probably and with a target in front and the flat wickets that we have here, probably it gives the team chasing advantage a bit more. And the most interesting thing when Virat and Rohit were talking on the ICC TV was that Rohit was telling Virat that hopefully ये सब जो toss बाजी है, that won't affect us in Australia, and the team that plays well on the day will win. So this is the type of thinking that they are taking to Australia, that hopefully it will be not only restricted to a toss where you win the toss and you have such a huge advantage hopefully in Australia. But really, I also don't know. I can't put a finger on the reason why so high percentage of matches have been won by teams that are chasing. And probably it could be, type of pitches that we have, type of conditions that have, or maybe sheer heat, or the, nerves that the bowlers are unable to control, because we have seen that in crucial stages, even the best of fielders have dropped catches and the bowlers have bowled full tosses instead of Yorkers. So obviously the bowling side has come second best in all the matches which have gone to the wire, and none have been like that where a good final over has produced a victory for the bowling side.
Absolutely, and to think that there isn't dew that is also playing a part here, at least not in the matches in Asia Cup. We haven't seen dew playing a role, but no one knows what is going on. At the end of it, the thing that we know is that Pakistan have won the toss and now have a clear advantage. But on the other hand, Sri Lanka are a very good batting side. They've shown that throughout. In fact, in the Super Fours, they've been the best team, and they've by far been a better team when it comes to their batting if you compare them to Pakistan. What are the things that they should be worried about, Ashok sir, Sri Lanka today?
I think they should be worried about the first 6 overs because Naseem Khan is back. He is bowled magnificently. Hasnain is another good young bowler they have. So first 6 overs are going to be very, very vital. If they lose a couple of wickets in the first 2 overs, I think it's a game, set and match to Pakistan. But if they get off to a 60 runs partnership, 6 overs, maybe 50 runs partnership, then anything can happen. And when Santosh sir was saying why a team batting second, I think it is something to do with the little bit of dew, maybe the lights, which help ball comes onto the bat much quicker. The batting conditions are much easier when you're batting second, when you're chasing target. So I think this is the reason that most of the side which are batting second, they find batting much easier. Batting first, ball stops and comes. It's a little bit of a double-paced wicket, but when you're batting second, it is a beautiful track to bat on. It becomes a belt.
We've already talked about Pakistan spinners and all-rounders rather, and how they've been so impressive in this tournament. But what about for Sri Lanka? Hasaranga as well as Tikshana, a lot will depend on how they bowl and control those middle overs, isn't that so, Santosh? And you saw what Hasaranga and Tikshana did against Pakistan in the last game. I mean, they'll be key right now to control that game, knowing that Pakistan have the toss advantage.
Absolutely, but like Ashokji has said that bowling, when you are bowling in the first half and bowling in the second half is virtually like, day and night. So the advantage that they got of, bowling when the ball was stopping a bit and with a bit of dew and, lights also playing the part in straightening out the wicket, probably they'll have to use all their talent and, to bowl in a situation where the batsman will be after them when they are going. So hopefully if they can, get a bit of a breakthrough from new ball, and then they can get into the middle order when they are bowling, the two spinners come in, that will be vital for Sri Lanka. So the conditions that we are going to bowl today will be entirely different from what they got, because they were bowling first there, and here they'll have to bowl second. So that is going to be the vital difference. And let's see if these two spinners can come to the party tonight, and Sri Lanka at least can break that jinx of team having lost the toss, winning the match.
Yeah. But I think, yes, Ashok sir.
And another thing is they will only come to the party if they put runs on the board.
Yeah.
They got not two spinners, they've got a third spinner in Dhananjay. Yeah. Because I was hearing the commentators who were saying he's a part-time bowler. He's not a part-time bowler. He's a main bowler in Test cricket. So I don't know who said that he's a part-time bowler. He's a regular off-spinner. He's a regular spinning all-rounder. So they got playing with three spinners. But if they have to have any chance, they have to put runs on the board. That is the first priority for Sri Lanka team.
Also in a final, I mean, so much of it just comes down to who handles the pressure better. In this tournament, we've seen both these teams having played some really close matches. But the pressure of a final is completely different, isn't that so, Ashok sir?
It is, it's a pressure game. And pressure game, I would normally say win the toss, bat first, put runs on the board and put pressure. It might be a blessing in disguise for Sri Lanka if they can get off to a good start, put some runs on the board, because batting second in a final, it always puts pressure. And lower the total, worse it gets. So I think it first and foremost for Sri Lanka, you put runs on the board, be it 150, 160, 170, whatever, but put runs on the board and then put Pakistan under pressure. And we know they have a very, very, very brittle middle order. They have a soft belly in the belly. They're like a crocodile who has a soft belly. Yeah. So Pakistan is like that. They depend on the top three, and after that, there's nobody who can bail them out.
We saw what happened against Afghanistan. I mean, at one point they were cruising and suddenly they kept losing wickets, and then Naseem Shah had to bail them out. But gentlemen, time for predictions. It was very different before this Asia Cup started, from India versus Pakistan. trying to get them or trying to talk about them in the final. This is very different now. It's Sri Lanka versus Pakistan. Who has the advantage? Who has the edge? And give us your predictions. Let's begin with Ashok Malhotra.
See, I'll go for Pakistan. Go with Pakistan because one, they won the toss. Two, I think they know how to win. So I would go with Pakistan. For me, it is Team Pakistan who will winning the Asia Cup.
अच्छा जी, आपने पाकिस्तान बोल दिया, आप तो देखिए अब आपको ट्रोलिंग होनी शुरू हो जाएगी.
I'm wearing the color also.
Yeah, you know what times are now. You can't be, but no, okay. You think Pakistan? What about Santosh sir? Do you agree?
See, for us, well, I agree, but like I said, we are, Begani Shadi mein Abdullah Diwana. We had come for a wedding, but we are now left like this only. Yeah. So of course, the trend says that it will be Pakistan, and Pakistan is a better team between the two. And yeah, Pakistan it is for us.
नहीं मैं बता रही हूँ, this is what happened. Like you're saying, Begani Shadi mein Abdullah Diwana. I mean, who remembers the World Cup in the West Indies? India out.
Absolutely.
We had.
Who won? I don't remember.
Well, the thing that yes, Santosh sir.
I said who won that tournament?
Most of the TV channels have called back their reporters and cameramen and all. Poor guys were made to leave the moment we lost that second match against Sri Lanka. So even poor guys were said that you can't be Abdullah in this Begani Shadi, so you better come home. Luckily we are here to witness the final, and hopefully we'll have a better final and enjoy it as cricket loving sports lovers.
What I remember in 2007 was that we had this whole programming lined up, and because it was happening in the West Indies, you can imagine all the matches were happening in the night, and we had to do shows at 7:30 in the morning. And then suddenly India have crashed out in the group stages, and it was a very long World Cup. It was also that the whole Bob Woolmer, he passed away, and then we were covering that. But having said that, it was difficult because you were you were covering all sorts of games, and you had the whole programming. It was it was sponsored, so everybody had put so much hope into India at least getting through to the knockout stages, but they were out. And yeah, and it was actually a start of a lot of things. Then from there on, things changed in Indian cricket. That 2007 World Cup was big. But okay, what seems to be happening with Babar Azam quickly before we go, because this is something that Pakistan would be worried about, Ashok sir. This is we're going to be we have the World Cup next month.
See, it is a it'll be kind of one upmanship because it's a World Cup coming, so they don't want to give an inch. They want to set the record straight that we are the better side, we are the best side. So that is probably what Pakistan would like to do. And Australia will be different ball game. It is not going to be where spinners will come in handy in Australia. It'll be more of medium pacers. So I don't know where the Sri Lankan will get another medium pacer. But the fact is, as of now, their batting seems to be very solid, rock solid, which is making them win the matches. And with Hasranga and Thikshana chipping it. So there seem to be a side which seem to be gelling well. So there might be challenges. They might be. We never counted Sri Lanka before the Asia Cup or before the World Cup, but all of a sudden they are turning out to be very, very strong.
And to think that they are playing qualifiers before the World Cup, to qualify for the T20 World Cup.
Imagine. See how bad they were, Yeah. So how they have bounced back.
Yeah. Okay, I'm Team Sri Lanka today. I just think that they need this, all of this.
Good luck to you. Yes.
All of this. Always try to go for the dark horse. They've done very well to reach the finals. Nobody gave them a chance. Why not? It can be a culmination of a wonderful dream for them, given the circumstances that their country is in. at the moment, that Sri Lanka is in at the moment. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Santosh Suri and Ashok Malhotra for joining us here. News 9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest. Who will win the Asia Cup? Who will be the Asian champions? Can't wait to find out. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.